Brands Hatch and the second International Lucas Truck Super Prix. Sponsored jointly by Lucas CAV and Lucas Kienzler. It's 2 days of action-packed racing full of excitement. The first round of the 1986 European Championship. Let's talk to the drivers in the paddock before the start.
It's actually a very fine art, I've decided, especially in the wet conditions, because the controls of them are much more sensitive than a car, and the tyres are more sensitive than cars, unbelievably, but it's a fact. I mean, if you go over a curb in one of these, you go a lot slower.
Well, now you've driven in the wet all day today.
It looks like it's going to be a wet race for us, certainly very wet qualifying, but it's that fingertips bit that you get in saloon car racing in the wet, but just a little bit more finesse in this. The only problem I'm having is left foot braking, because I've got a lot of understeer, and I'm trying to get it out by using the left foot brake going into the corners.
Rally style, eh?
Well, yeah, but the problem is that the steering column on a truck, pardon me, that was the lunch. The steering column on the truck comes down between the clutch and the brake pedal, so you've actually got to put your foot round the steering column to get the brake pedal, so I'm driving it rather like a ballet dancer.
You don't need power in these conditions. You drive with the old brain and pussyfoot it round, a little bit of left foot brake. I know it sounds ridiculous, left foot braking in a truck, but it seemed to work. I was something like, I believe, 8 seconds off the pace in the dry yesterday because we just haven't got the power, and today I'm right on the ball game.
The attitude that people have towards truck racing, it's much the same as motorcycle racing used to be when I first started. You know, everybody likes one another, they all get on good, and it's good fun. You know, you can come down and have a good weekend out. It's good entertainment for the family, and it's very popular. I mean, they get 80,000 people, so it can't be that bad.
Brands, a difficult circuit with a truck?
Very, yeah. I mean, it's much closer racing at Brands, with it being a shorter circuit, and in these conditions, it's a lottery, really. It's if you can stay on the track, I think, it's the hardest job, and going fast. But yeah, I would say one of the better tracks because it's so tight and the spectators can see the whole track. I think it's very, very good.
It's completely different to Silverstone. You've got the ups and downs, and it's more like being on a roller coaster or going down a black run, you know, with a few glue vine down you when you're skiing. It's fantastic.
Now, what about the opposition this year? Anybody you're sort of looking at and saying, oh, well,
Well, more than what I thought, actually. The CAV boys seem to be quite quick, and then you've got Willie Green in the RF, the Mercedes. Everybody's going to be quick. It's going to be a lot of quick. There's going to be a lot of quick trucks around. There's not going to be much between any of us, I don't think.
Now, Mike's complaining that it understeers and it's all difficult and it's all wet and it's all horrid. What is it like?
Bloody awful. No, I think things will change as soon as if the weather looks up a little bit. I think it'll be a different ball game.
And you've got high hopes?
Oh yes, of course, we've got to have high hopes, haven't we?
Each capacity truck has 2 qualifying races, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. They're split up in the up to 300 horsepower, 301 to 360 horsepower, and 361 to 450 horsepower class. A rolling start for each race behind the £100,000 Leyland Cabriolet, and who better to describe the action than BBC Grand Prix commentator Murray Walker.
Leading away to the start line, number 1 in the Ford Cargo, European champion Rod Chapman with Robert Williams. And behind Chapman, it's Mike Smith and another Ford Cargo. Yes, it is the BBC TV Mike Smith and Adrian Kidd. It's a 15-lap race. They thunder across the start line down to Paddock Bend, which leads up to Halewood Rise. And it's the 2 Ford Cargos in the lead straight away. Rod Chapman and Mike Smith virtually together, with the rest streaming along behind them. Up to Druids and out of Druids, it is Rod Chapman, the European champion. Then it's Mike Smith. Then it's Adrian Kidd coming through, and they plunge down to Graham Hill Bend on the damp track. And of course, maintaining the balance of the truck in today's slippery, greasy conditions is going to be very difficult indeed. But there is the European champion, Rod Chapman, with the 280 horsepower Ford Cargo, followed by Mike Smith. Then, thundering through, it's Robert Williams in the Bedford TM, and it's a very close race behind them. Across the line, Chapman leads, and Smith in second place, and already the 2 Ford Cargos are making the pace. Chapman takes it very wide down to Paddock. On round the rest of the lap, and coming out of Clearways in the lead now, it's number 11, Mike Smith, ahead of his team leader, Rod Chapman, who gets terrific oversteer there. The back swings out. Chapman chasing his teammate Mike Smith and understeering off. Rennie Van Hoot in the Scania. Now watch his rear wheels scrabbling for grip as he rejoins the circuit. And there's Dave Gray thundering past in the Team Lucas CAV Leyland as the leaders are already lapping the midfield men. And the leaders are, as they go into Paddock Bend, the 2 Ford Cargo men, European champion Chapman and new boy Mike Smith. And it's the new boy Mike Smith, number 11, who is leading in the prime Ford Cargo. Then the Stormont Ford Cargo of Rod Chapman. And look at the way that Chapman is closing right up on Mike Smith. Drifting round the long, long right-hander at Clearways. And Chapman looks as though he's going to go through and take the lead. Is he going to nip through on the inside of Mike Smith? They're almost overlapping each other as Chris Seville and Dave Gray come through. There are no Ford team orders, and you can see it because Chapman's on the inside at Paddock, and he's taken the lead. Rod Chapman is showing his experience, and Mike Smith is now tucked in behind it as they go up Halewood Rise into Druids Hill Bend. Mike Smith, the young man, is through and in the lead. What an incredible race this is. And meantime, Mel Lindsay, who is in 4th position, is putting up a storming race. He's broken the lap record, 68.5 seconds, 63.25 miles an hour, but it's not enough to get close to the 2 Ford Cargos. Smith leads, Chapman second, and it looks as though they are in a race of their own. Remember that this is the first truck race that Mike Smith has ever driven in, and he is showing the way home to Rod Chapman, the European champion. Almost a dead heat, but Mike Smith wins his first truck race, and he looks justifiably happy as he takes the laurels from Trevor Cooper of Uniroyal. And now we move upper class to the 301 to 360 horsepower middleweights. On the left, class champion Willie Green. Next, Richard Walker. Behind them, Barry Lee in the Mercedes and his teammate Steve Parrish in another Mercedes, followed by Howard Barnes in the Scammell, and he's the Scammell sales manager, so he's got a lot to prove. Up to the line. Who's going to break away first? Watch Willie Green in particular in the black ERF, and sure enough, it is Green, in terrific form. Superlative style. Willie Green, who's driven historics, Formula 5000, virtually every kind of racing car, leads from Walker. Then the 2 Mercedes. There is Howard Barnes in the Scammell in 5th position. 1 lap completed in this 15-lap race across the line. Green has already got a very considerable lead as he goes into Paddock Bend, onto Halewood Rise. And there's Mel Bacon in the second Team Lucas CAV Leyland. Into Paddock, following Alan Hodge. Hodge drifting his big six-wheeler through. And now Hodge and Bacon take Malk Bromley as they cross the line to complete another lap. But it's Willie Green's race all the way, and here he is to prove it, coming out of Clearways, ahead of his arch-rival Richard Walker. So it looks, there is Walker, so it looks as though it's going to be a victory for the ERF. Second place for the Leyland. But a terrific scrap going on, and there it is between Howard Barnes in the Scammell and right behind him, motorcycle racer in the Mercedes, Steve Parrish. Mel Bacon coming out of Clearways and really drifting the big Leyland. He straightens it up, punches away to the line, and Willie Green wins with a new lap record. So he must be very happy.
Yes, very, very happy with that. It bodes well for the next heat and the final. I don't think we shall see the 2 Swedish trucks, but it's going very well, I think. And I would actually, while I've got the microphone, like to thank Jeff Challen, who built that truck and finished it about midnight the night before I came here.
Well, this is Steve Murty, and this is a Ford truck, but a Ford truck with a difference, because instead of the diesel engine, it's got a Rolls-Royce Avon, 12,200 pounds of thrust, powering it at 200 miles per hour. Pirelli shot, of course. There's no smoke without fire. There's the fire. Here's the smoke. Just watch this for acceleration.
Race 3, and Italy's Gaudenzio Mantova leads the 361 to 450 horsepower heavyweights up to the grid. Mantova won the Lucas Truck Super Prix last year. And here he is in the red Scania, sharing the front row of the grid with double motorcycle world champion Barry Sheene. Behind them, Dutchman Ad Vancouveringa in the enormous Peterbilt and Britain's Mike O'Brien in his Bedford. Plus, Swedish aces Rolf Bork and Kurt Göransson. They're the man to watch. And at the start, Ad Vancouveringa in the mighty Peterbilt zooms up to second place, ahead of Barry Sheene. Sheene down to third place, and behind him, Mike O'Brien in the Bedford is fourth. Rolf Bork, fifth in the Scania. And Göransson is going onto the grass in the big Volvo, but he's recovered magnificently. Mantova leads, Vancouveringa second, into Paddock. And Mike O'Brien is going for third place from Barry Sheene. But Sheene still holds that third position in the DAF. And there, look at that Peterbilt. And believe it or not, it's much shorter than last year. And Barry Sheene is going through into second place. He's done it. The DAF is through. Down to third position goes the Dutchman. So it's the Italian first, the Englishman in second place, and the Dutchman third as they come up to the line. And Mike O'Brien is coming up fast in the Bedford. Over the line they go, virtually together. Rolf Bork in fifth place. Great racing. Sheene second, Vancouveringa third, and Mike O'Brien is gaining on the Peterbilt, up Halewood Rise, into Druids Hill Bend, and the Englishman goes through into third position, or does he? No, the Dutchman is still there. Mantova leads, Sheene second, Vancouveringa third. And here is the Italian, the man who won the race last year, one wheel off the ground, Sheene second. Bork is up into third position in his Scania, so there's a change there. Now he's second. Bork, as they go into Clearways, is in second place behind the Italian Mantova. A great race. Now he's challenging for the lead. Up comes the Scania's right rear wheel in the lead as they exit Clearways. Bork, the Swede, is pushing the Italian very hard indeed. Those two Scanias in the lead have got colossal grunt, sheer power into Paddock. Now Surtees. Mantova leads, Bork second. Barry Sheen is still there in the DAF. And this is Bork's chance. Mantova's running a bit wide. Bork is coming through, and he's through, he's in the lead. Bork leads, Mantova second, Barry Sheen in third position. Mantova's fighting back, he's not going to give in, but Bork now has got a clear line in front of him. The Swede leads, and it's Göransson up into third position, past Barry Sheen. So a Volvo is in third place, a DAF is in fourth position. It's a Scania leading and another Scania in second place. Over the line go Göransson and Sheen, third and fourth. But now Göransson is really flying. He's up to Mantova in second position. Look at this. Mantova's been passed by one Swede, and it looks as though he's going to have to give best to another one any second. Because Göransson is through, he's up into second place, so it's Swedes first and second. Scania leads, Volvo second, Scania third. And it's a magnificent victory for Rolf Bork from Sweden in the Scania with another lap record, 66.9 miles an hour. A magnificent drive by the burly Swede who talked to Brian Jones from the victory rostrum.
That was an excellent win, if I may say so, a superb performance.
Yes, in dry weather the truck is good, but when it's wet it's too heavy, so I was lucky it was dry.
You're praying for rain, are you, for tomorrow, or praying for sunshine?
Sunshine, please, if I can pray, yes.
And Rolf Bork's prayers were answered, for day 2 of the Lucas Truck Super Prix at Brands Hatch was in spring sunshine. A vast crowd came along, and not just for the racing too, but for the circuit entertainment as well. Behind the grandstand, the Lucas CAV Roadshow was setting the tempo for a crowded day's enjoyment. And the trade stands were busy too, everyone looking forward to a tremendous day's racing on a dry track.
Ideal conditions then for Heat 2 of the up to 300 horsepower class. Yesterday, the Ford Cargos led the way home. So it's Mike Smith and Rod Chapman in the front row on the parade lap up to the starting grid. Number 11, pole position, Mike Smith. Number 1, European champion, Rod Chapman. 15 laps to go. It's going to be a close race. And it's go! Up to Paddock Bend. Mike Smith on the inside, Rod Chapman on the outside. Behind them, Mel Lindsay and Robert Williams. And Chapman ran very wide as he came out of Paddock Bend. Up to Druids, it's Mike Smith in the lead. Chapman in second position. And a frantic jostling behind them. Robert Williams is in third place. Now they go into Graham Hill Bend and out of it. The Ford Cargos lead, and Chris Hudson's running wide onto the grass. He's fighting his Leyland back onto the track, and he's going to be back in the race. Well held, and back he goes. And meantime, it's Smith, Mike Smith leading. Rod Chapman behind him in second position. Some way back, it's Mel Lindsay in third place, Robert Williams in fourth position. And as the two Ford Cargos come up to Druids for the second time, it's Smith, Chapman, Lindsay, and don't forget that this is Mike Smith's first ever truck meeting. And today, because of the extra heat and the more stringent conditions, they'll have to watch tyre temperatures. If they get too high, the tyres will go off, the grip will be lost. Coming out of clearways, Mike Smith leads. Chapman right behind him, looking for an opportunity to get past, drifting a little wide as he goes out of clearways. Over the line to complete another lap. But Mel Lindsay is starting to catch them. This is the man that holds the lap record at 63.25 miles an hour. And as Mike Smith and Chapman fight for the lead, they're getting in each other's way and they're giving Lindsay the opportunity to catch up. Look, you can see he's getting closer as they come up to Druids. Smith and Chapman go round virtually together. And it looks to me as though Chapman in the Stormont Cargo is going for the lead, but Smith's in the first position as they exit Graham Hill Bend. on towards Surtees and the long right-hander at Clearways. And now, number 14, Dave Gray in the Team Lucas CAV Leyland is really flying. That's the blue one, and just watch him. He's coming up to Phil Morris and Chris Saville. Straight between them. Masterly bit of driving by Dave Gray, who gains 2 places in 1 move. On the bunch goes, and the leaders are coming out of the bend now, and look at it. Mike Smith up on the curve. Rod Chapman watching very carefully from behind. Out of Clearways to come through and complete yet another lap. Now they are having to watch the tyres. The temperatures are going up, and Rod Chapman is going through. He's going to take the lead as he goes into Paddock Bend, and he's done it. He's got the inside line. Mike Smith's had to go wide. He tucks in behind the team leader. Now, Halewood Rise and Druids Hill Bend. Rod Chapman needs to have the right line here to cut in tight to the apex and prevent Mike Smith from coming out from behind him, and that's just what he's doing. Mike Smith's going through. He's taking the lead. What a masterly bit of driving by the young Englishman, Mike Smith. He's taken the first position from Rod Chapman, and he's on his way round Graham Hill Bend. The 280 horsepower Ford Cargos leading in this Heat 2, just as they led in Heat 1. Now, who is going to win? Because now we are going into the last lap. They go round Paddock absolutely together. Smith on the inside, but Chapman leads. Now, this is where Smith took Rod Chapman on the previous lap. Is he going to do it again? And it looks to me as though Rod Chapman is making that mistake because he's too wide. He lets Smith through. And Mike Smith coming down the hill into Graham Hill Bend, up to Surtees, round to Clearways for the 15th and last time. Looks as though he's definitely going to win this second heat, and if he does that, for sure he will win overall. And he's going to do it. Up to the line. Smith wins. Chapman second. Mel Lindsay in third position.
Mike, quite one of the most exciting and dramatic track races that I've seen yesterday, but you seem to cap it today.
Well, yeah, somebody came up to me yesterday after it and said, oh, that was well staged. Rod let you through nicely and all that bit. And I could have hit them because there's no staging going on at all. I defy anybody to say we were staging. What was worrying me in that race was the guy in third place seemed to be catching us. And I thought if we carry on slowing each other up like this, because of the way we were dicing, you inherently slow yourself up through the corners. I was a bit worried that he was going to get up with us. On top of that, my truck kept jumping out of 9th gear. I found how many gears there are now, Brian.
Yeah, how many more are there after that?
1. So you haven't got many more left to choose from. And then I got this smell came in the cab. And I
see, we didn't wish to know that.
No, it wasn't one of those sort of lavatorial smells. It was a smell of like burning rubber or something. I don't know what I've done to it, but it's a hell of a thing. It could be just the tyres going off because it was getting faster and harder out there. The tyres don't last for 15 laps. That's a fact.
So fresh tyres for the next race?
I don't know. Well, we take a look at them, see what they're like when they cool down. They should be okay. But they just, I mean, you know, you've got 5.5 tons trying to do 95 miles an hour through paddock. It's bound to do some damage to the rubber wear.
Now, this obviously qualifies you to go on into the main event.
I think it does. I'm making no forecasts about the Super Prix for this afternoon because you've got to see a lot more big trucks yet. We, believe it or not, are the baby trucks. If it rains for the Super Prix, bad luck for the crowd, but good luck for us because the small trucks will do well. But I don't see how 300 brake horsepower of Ford Cargo can compare with 1,000 brake horsepower of Peterbilt. We'll find out.
Well, if television star Mike Smith has secured his place in the final, how about the Lucas CAV driver from last year, Richard Walker? How does he rate his chances?
We're finding it very hard at the moment. We've had 1-2 problems. Differential went and we've built an inboard fuel tank and that's not big enough. We nearly ran out of diesel in yesterday's race, but it's coming together. It's coming together.
Yeah, you had a good place yesterday. You're looking for better today?
Well, second. I don't like following that ERF around. I much prefer to see him behind me.
The truck is wonderful. We know what we need to do. The engine is superb. Barring any unforeseen incidents, I think we're in with a very good chance.
I think it's 26 years since you started racing. The enthusiasm's still there?
It's a hell of a bloody long time, I must admit. Yes, of course it is. I'll race anything. It's a challenge. Wheelbarrows, bicycles, I'll race it.
You don't care what it is, trucks, cars, the lot.
Precisely.
So we can look forward to a good race today.
I think it should be good fun. And it looks like it might, according to the forecast, it might rain this afternoon for the grand final.
No signs of rain for Heat 2 of the Perkins Engines race, though, as they roll out of the paddock. Alan Hodge, number 4. Number 41, Mount Bromley's Leyland. And 47, Tony Jenkins in the Scamble. Up to the grid behind the cabriolet, Willie Green in pole position, Richard Walker alongside him. Then Howard Barnes and Steve Parrish, Barry Lee in the Mercedes, and Mel Bacon. The race is on, and Willie Green leads into paddock. But Mount Bromley there nearly hits the Armco. Up to Druids, 45 miles an hour and 7th gear into the corner. Willie Green leads in the ERF, and there's Richard Walker second. Round the right-hander together, Barnes and Parrish in the Scamble and the Mercedes. Barry Lee behind them. Hodge is in 6th position, and Mel Baker is 7th as they plunge down the hill, round Graham Hill Bend, up to Clearways, and it's Willie Green out front. There's Richard Walker, tight up behind him, Barnes in the Scamble, the 2 Mercedes together. Bacon has passed Hodge now, and he's in 6th position. And Barnes is going superbly. Look at him, he's catching Richard Walker. There's Richard, number 2, 2nd place. Barnes, number 26, in the distinctive Scamble, right up behind the Leyland as they go into Clearways. And he's going through, he's taking 2nd position. And the Mercedes are still together. On the inside, it's Parrish. On the outside, it's Lee. And Mel Bacon there, number 10, in the Team Lucas CAV entry, Gertie, old Gertie, rebuilt for 1986. Now we're in the cab with Mel Bacon. Ahead of us, Barry Lee in the Mercedes. Now you can see how quickly they're going. Now you can see the racing line cut in tight to the apex at paddock. Let it drift out a bit, up the hill, up Halewood Rise. Then cut into the right-hander, the slowest corner on the course. And Gertie's really doing the shimmy as he comes out of the right-hander. Just watch. Team Lucas CAV have really got it all together. But now it's the last lap, and Willie Green is on his winning way for the 2nd time in 2 races. He's going to win this heat. He broke the lap record in the 1st heat, so he's going to win easily overall. And 2nd is going to be Howard Barnes. In 3rd position, Richard Walker. Willie Green goes across the line in the black ERF, a fine victory. So now, what about Willie Green for the final up against the heavyweights?
I think I should be in the first 6 if I keep it on the iron, and I gather the weather forecast is rain, which is going to throw it wide open. It'll give everybody, regardless of class, a very good chance of outright victory. I mean, by that I specifically mean Rod Chapman.
What about the power differential? How much are you giving away to the big trucks?
I would think in a region of 200 horsepower to the Scania.
A big problem for Willie then, and here are the heavyweights for their 2nd radio paging heat. On the front row, the 2 Swedes, Rolf Bjork in the Scania, Kurt Goranson in the Volvo. Row 2, the Italian, Mantova in his Scania and Mike O'Brien. Row 3, Barry Sheen and the Dutchman, Van Hoeveringer in the giant Peterbilt. And what a spectacle it is as they go down to paddock. And now we're with Barry Sheen in 4th position. Ahead of us is Rolf Bjork and Goranson, who's fighting for the lead. Mantova in 3rd position. So Sheen has passed Mike O'Brien. 50 miles an hour in the giant tractor units as they go round Druids Hill Bend. Out of it, down to Graham Hill Bend for the first time in 15 laps. Rolf Bjork leads, Goranson 2nd, Mantova in 3rd position. Barry Sheen is 4th in the DAF, Mike O'Brien is 5th. Then it's Andrew Levitt, Van Hoeveringen in the big Peterbilt, and saloon racing car veteran Tony Lanfranchi. But just look at the way Rolf Bjork, the lap record holder from the 1st heat, is throwing the giant Scania around. Goranson 2nd, Mantova 3rd, Sheen is 4th, there's Mike O'Brien. And there is the big Peterbilt. £100,000 that Peterbilt cost. But Bjork looks as though he's got it made already. Göransson in second position isn't making up any time and space at all on the big Scania in front of him. The two Swedes are pulling away from the Italian Mantova, who won last year. So it's Scania's first and third, sandwiching Göransson's Volvo. And there's the gorgeous Peterbilt. And Rolf Bjork. Rolf really has mastered this 1.2-mile Brands Hatch Indy circuit superbly, sliding out the rear of the Scania with aplomb, coming through to complete another lap. But as Mantova goes through in third place, it really does look to me as though Göransson in second place is starting to close a bit on the leader. We'll soon see. Here comes Sheen, and Mike O'Brien is going through to take fourth position in the Leyland. And look at it, he's done it. We're inside the cab now with Barry Sheen. And Mike O'Brien has rocketed past, up into fourth place, going round Clearways. Now up Hailwood Hill. And is Mike O'Brien going to make up any ground on Mantova in third position? Now, this is the way to see Brands Hatch, high up in the cab, fast enough to see the racing line. Round Graham Hill Bend, on towards Surtees, there's Mantova in front of us, and here are the two leaders. That's the Scania of Rolf Bjork, but this is coming up to the start of the last lap. Now let's see where Göransson is, and Bjork is really pressing on, sliding out the rear again, and Göransson is gaining, no doubt about it. This is the last lap. Göransson has got his headlights on. He's letting Bjork know that he's behind him. He's harrying his fellow Swede. He's saying to him, I'm closing up on you, Rolf. Rolf won't need telling. He can look in the giant mirrors to his right and left. I suspect that there is something wrong with Rolf Bjork's Scania. Because look, Göransson is getting ever closer. And Rolf Bjork broke the lap record on the previous lap, a new lap record for the Swede in the Scania, 67.1 miles an hour. And he's going to need to keep that speed up to keep Göransson at bay. But it looks as though he's going to do it. Rolf Bjork wins and Göransson second.
The secret is that you put the Volvo and Kurt Göransson behind you, and then he chases you, and it's no problem. As long as he's behind you, you can see him in the mirror all the time, and he's dangerous. That's why the lap records come.
So, in fact, you reckon that Kurt Göransson is still a threat to you winning the Lucas Truck Super Prix?
Oh, yeah, he's a threat all the time, everywhere.
The Lucas Truck Super Prix, however, is about people enjoying themselves, either on the ground, or in the air, or on the circuit, with loads of things to see and do.
The Lucas Super Prix approaches for the top runners from each class. But first, to decide the final qualifiers, the new shopper last chance race from which the first two go forward. And can anyone beat those great world champions, Barry Sheene and Barry Lee, in the front row? There they go, the DAF on the right, the Mercedes on the left, and the first two go forward to the final. The race is on. It's Paddock Bend, and it's Barry Lee leading with Barry Sheene second, with Andrew Levitt in third place and Hodge in fourth. And they all know that this is literally their last chance to get into that vital 25-lap Lucas Super Prix. That's the race that really matters, and Barry Lee means to be there. Look at the way he's going in the Mercedes. Is a Mercedes-Benz going to win at Brands Hatch? There the rest of them go surging round clearways, nose to tail. But a Mercedes-Benz is not going to win at Brands Hatch if Barry Sheene has anything to do with it. There's the DAF, number 7. The number that Barry Sheene carried all through his World Championship motorcycle career, on the Suzuki and on the Yamaha. Now he's in the DAF, now he's chasing the Mercedes. Barry Lee, 4 times World Hot Rod champion. And it's still Levitt in third position, Hodge in fourth place, as the leaders drive on. Up to clearways. Barry Lee drifts out, and Sheene is going through. Barry Sheene forces the DAF through with a masterly manoeuvre. And here he is, in the cab, looking at Sheene, one of the greatest motorcycle racers of all time. Now a top saloon car driver too, and a super trucking, and he's showing it. Sheene now, what, a good couple of lengths ahead of Barry Lee, and it looks as though it's going to be the first race that Barry Sheene has won on 2 wheels, on 4 wheels, or on 6 wheels for a very long time. He always looks anxious, does Barry Sheene. Without the visor, you can see his eyes, gauging the corners, deciding where to turn, when to change down, when to accelerate, when to brake. And he's almost home now. It is going to be victory for Barry Sheene and second place for Barry Lee, and both of them through into the Lucas Super Prix, and there they go.
It was good. I like Barry. I've known him for a long time. It's the first time I won any bloody thing for years, isn't it?
Well, it is. I was going to say that it's the first time I've had the chance of talking to you on the presentation platform having won something for a long time, and I'm delighted, and I'm sure everybody else was. You should have heard the roar as you finally got past Barry here.
It was good fun. You know, the whole name of the game is entertainment. That goes for the people that are watching and also the people that are driving. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Good indeed. Barry Sheene has qualified. Richard Walker in the cab talks over the prospects with Rod Chapman. Meanwhile, Mike Smith puts on his helmet, climbs into the cab, and does something to improve his disco dancing and his throttle technique at the same time. What about that for a bit of nifty footwork before a Grand Prix? Well, throttle control okay, and away they go now, on the first of the warming up laps for the 1986 Lucas Super Prix at Brands Hatch, and we go to Murray Walker.
Well, this really is the big one, as that mighty impressive lineup of superstars approaches the start for 25 laps of action. Bjork and Goranson, followed by Green and Walker. Row 3, Barnes and Mantova. Row 4, Parrish and O'Brien. And now, let's ride with Barry Sheene from 12th on the grid, with Barry Lee on the left and Mel Lindsay in front. Round the right-hander of Paddock, it's Bjork, Green, Goranson, and there's a pile-up. O'Brien's off, Chapman is off. And a gigantic log jam. There's O'Brien, and Lee is trying to get away. And he's doing so. Replay. Let's see what happened. Willie Green goes up into second place. But now O'Brien is squeezed by Parrish. He's pushed by Chapman. They stop, and of course the race is stopped.
Well, the tyre wall's destroyed, and now the marshals have got to go to work, as have the teams too, on repairing some of the damage there. Meanwhile, down on the grid, the drivers are having their own post-mortem. Mike Smith talks to Willie Green, and then has a quick look at the Stormont truck before going over and holding a post-mortem with a couple more drivers.
The puffer dust go up, he braked and slewed, and I went to one side of him, and then these two they like ballet danced into the fence.
That's right.
And our Chapman Esquire did one of his best demolition jobs I've ever seen.
The armco held up though, didn't it? Incredible, yeah. I thought, this is it.
But was that you on the grass, or was it mine?
No, it's me.
That was you?
Yeah, no, yeah. I should have been there, that's it, but...
No, I saw you get pushed out.
Yeah, well done, thank you. Should have said that. I saw you get pushed out.
Action, I said, and action it was. So now the parade lap for the second start, this time with Mantova, who did not take the first start. There he is. As they roll round clearways, 25 fast and furious laps ahead of them. On the left, Bjork. On the right, Göransson. And this time it's a clean start. Are they going to get round Paddock on the second time? Yes, they have. It's Bjorn leading. It's Göransson second, Green third, Walker fourth, Mantova fifth, Parrish sixth, O'Brien seventh, and Smith and Chapman together as they come up to Druids on lap one. Round Hewitt Druids, and there was Barry Sheen. Now down to Graham Hill Bend. And it's Willie Green in second position behind Bjork, then Göransson, then Richard Walker, and here is the leader out front, as he has been all day. Rolf Bjork, Willie Green, Göransson, Walker, Mantova, Chapman in sixth position, Ben Barnes is seventh, Parrish is eighth, and Mike Smith in the second Ford Cargo is ninth. This has the makings of a great Lucas Truck Super Prix. Look at the way they're going. Up to Druids again, Barry Sheen goes through, chased by one of the Mercedes. Up the long drag to Druids Hill Bend. It's the Scania leading, the ERF second, the Volvo in third position. Round they stream, up a gear, up another one. Göransson nearly loses it on the exit. And now look at Parrish. Steve Parrish in the Mercedes is coming through to pass Howard Barnes and go up into seventh place. And as Rolf Bjork comes out of clearways, there's a scrap for second place between Willie Green and Göransson. And not so very far behind them is Richard Walker in fourth place in the Leyland as they go over the line. Second, third, Green and Göransson. There's Walker, fourth in the background. Mantova is fifth. Chapman in the Cargo is in sixth position. And look at Mike Smith coming through the middle, taking Parrish and Barnes. Or is it? No. Parrish is staying there. Up to Druids. And Smith is right behind Parrish. He's going for the inside line. And he's punching Parrish off. He spins Steve Parrish's Mercedes out of the way. And Smith moves up to seventh position. Barnes is up to 8th, O'Brien is 9th, Barry Sheen is 10th, Lee is 11th, and there is Steve Parrish getting away in 15th place as Rolf Bjork goes round clearways. And now there's a new second place man. There he is, Göransson. Where's Willie Green? There he is in third position now. Richard Walker is 4th, Mantova is 5th, Chapman is in 6th position. And there is Mike Smith, Barnes, and O'Brien. And there's another crunch. Lindsay, Mel Lindsay and Alan Hodge are off and out of the race as Bjork goes round Paddock up to Druids. Where is Göransson? It looks as though Bjork is going to canter home. Look at the lead he's got. Now there is Göransson, and getting very close to the Volvo is Willie Green in the ERF in third position. Green is starting to catch Göransson. Now, here is Mike Smith, 7th, Barnes, 8th, O'Brien, 9th, Barry Sheen, 10th, Lee, 11th. Now we're back with Barry Sheen, ahead of us. is Mike O'Brien. He's in 9th position. Ahead of him is Mike Smith in 8th place. And Mike Smith is closing on Howard Barnes in the Scammell. They go round the sweeping left-hander at Surtees. There they are now. And Mike Smith is challenging. He's closing right up onto the tail of the Scammell as they go into clearways. Cutting across. Mike Smith's going to go for the inside as he did before. He's right up and he's done it again. Mike Smith has pushed Barnes out of the way. Look at this replay. There's Barnes going. Watch the Scammell spin out. And Mike Smith takes another place. He's gone up to 7th, but Mr. Barnes is not going to be very pleased with that. O'Brien to 8th, Sheen to 9th. And the leader is still Rolf Bjork. He may be the leader, but as Bjork goes round paddock, Göransson is gaining. Look at this. And those two, the Swedes in the Scania and the Volvo, have got a big, big lead now. Where is Willie Green in 3rd position? There's Göransson 2nd. There's Green leading his class. Richard Walker in 4th position. Mantova in 5th place. And Rod Chapman in the Stormont Ford Cargo in 6th position, leading his class. And what a battle for 4th and 5th places between Richard Walker, there he is in 4th place, coming out of clearways, and Mantova in the orange Scania. Mantova really getting his foot down, hammering on behind the green and white Leyland of Richard Walker. And Mantova shaping to go through, but he's not close enough. Richard Walker's holding him off, still 4th, Mantova still 5th, and up to paddock comes Smith in 7th place. Barry Sheen is up to 8th position, and Parrish is 9th. And look at this, Smith, Sheen, Parrish. So Parrish has come up from 15th to 9th place. What a super drive. And Bjork now is right up with Barry Sheen, who is in 8th position. Göransson in the big Volvo, 2nd place. So, as earlier this afternoon, Swede leads. Swede in 2nd position. And where is the 3rd place man? Willie Green. There is the answer. Clearing clearways, going through, past the grandstand, and Green is starting to catch Göransson. The race is really coming alight in the closing stages. Willie Green in 3rd place is closing up, and he's taking Göransson. Göransson stops. Almost. He's coming up to Druids now, and it looks to me as though he's going to pull off. And he does so. And there's Chapman going through into 5th place in the Ford Cargo. Great stuff. Mike O'Brien up to 6th position. And Göransson takes the stricken Volvo slowly home. Now there's Bjork. He had lapped Parrish and Barry Sheen, but now he's being unlapped. And that looks to me very significant indeed. Yes, the big Scania is in trouble. Bjork's right front tyre is disintegrating, and Willie Green in 2nd place and Richard Walker 3rd are catching. Now there is Parrish and Barry Sheen. They're going through the right-hander at paddock ahead of Bjork. So Willie Green could win the Lucas Super Prix, and look at the way he's being cheered on by the marshals at paddock. Up to Druids, he's gaining hand over fist on the Scania. Now, where's Richard Walker? Richard Walker is still in 3rd position. Here is Mike Smith, who is 8th, and he's lapping Rolf Bjork, but it's the last lap. Bjork has only got to get down the finishing straight now to win the Lucas Super Prix, and he does so with a record lap at 67.5 and Willie Green 2nd. But did Bjork have a problem?
Oh yeah, I had a big problem. My gearbox is totally broken after 20 laps, so I can only run in gear 10. And then my left front tires took big pieces off, so I wasn't sure, but it went good, thanks heaven.
Well, so it was a nail-biting experience.
It was. If I just could find my nails, I will bite them.
How important is it to win the Lucas Truck Super Prix at Brands Hatch?
Well, it's always important to win. I mean, like Willie and Richard and a very good driver, all of them, and every win is fine. But last year I was here with a black truck, didn't go so fast. This one goes better.
If I'd known he'd got half his front tyre missing, I would certainly have caught him.
Could you have gone any quicker, though, or were you taking it steady?
I was going as fast as I could because I kept seeing one or two Italians in a mirror who I don't like getting anywhere near me. Not Richard. Richard's a gentleman.
Congratulations, Richard. Second last year, third this year. You are making a habit of finishing in the frame.
Yeah, it'd be better if we could finish first, but third's more than I ever hoped for, to be honest. When the Volvo slowed down, I thought he was doing it on purpose, just to give us a bit of a run for money, but he must have run out of diesel or something. And then the Scania only just finished, I understand. He had gearbox trouble as well, and Willie was running out of brakes, so for the first time, we ought to try a 30-lap final like last year.
Well, I've no doubt your sponsors are very pleased, because second last year, third year, this year, it can't be bad, can it?
Well, it's going the wrong direction. Let's hope we can be first next year.
The presentation and Bob Lucas of Lucas CAV presents to Ralph Bjork, the victor of the second Lucas Truck Grand Prix at Brands Hatch, the Laurels of Victory, an event which once again has proved to be an outstanding success for Lucas CAV and Lucas Kienzler, and British Airways Concorde thrilled the crowd by saluting the winners.
Well, you tried 2 wheels, you tried 4 wheels, now you've got 6 wheels. Which do you prefer?
I think the old 6 wheels is good because they got heaters, you see. I'm a bit of an old pansy when it comes to getting cold.
Yeah, as you get older, you need the heat.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks,
Barry.
I always speak very highly of you, actually. God, this commercial
getting as bad as
you on behalf of Lucas.
He's getting as bad as Alan
You can
Jones.
rely on Lucas. It's a very good product. How am I doing?
Very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. He's left his on. That's a help, Richard, isn't
How are
it?
you?
I'm very well.
Haven't seen you for a while.
You had a good Christmas?
Fantastic, yourself?
Fine, marvellous.
Get it out. Turn around those black bends. You kicked the gear down.
Damn it. Well, that's a good start to all this, isn't it? Eh? Right off the track.